Kent County Administrative Complex, 555A Road, Dover, Delaware. Levy Court Chambers, Room 203, Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. Before we go into the agenda, Mr. Penamaj, will you please tell people how to get on?
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Levy Court. We are making this meeting available to guests via the internet using the WebEx platform. And for those folks who may be joining us via WebEx, just a few basic instructions. If you're joining us with a mobile phone, we ask that you keep your device on mute, and at the appropriate time through the meeting where there's opportunity for public comment, if you wish to address Levy Court at that time, press *3 on your mobile phone and it'll raise an electronic hand. We'll be able to recognize you and bring you into the room. If you're going to be speaking during the public hearing item that we have this evening, we will ask that you state your name and address for the record and be sworn in by the county attorney prior to proceeding with your comments. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, the WebEx platform at the bottom of the screen has a raise hand icon, and we ask that you use that in a similar fashion to let us know that you wish to make comment, and then we will invite you into the room to do that. This is a combined meeting of Levy Court, which means we are going to be doing some business and as well as committee work, and we will be following our business meeting rules of order adopted by Levy Court along with the Mason's rules of order for this proceeding. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Penamaj. Before I open up the meeting, President Pepper is online. Mark, is he's able to hear us now?
President Pepper,
yes.
Are you able to hear us okay?
Yes, I'm able to hear you. Do I need to press *3 to raise my hand when I want to speak, or I could be live the whole time?
You can be live all the time. If there's any background noise, I may mute it for a second, but I'll also send the unmute request as well.
Okay, so I appreciate it. Just leave me live.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
7 p.m. business meeting, call to order. Invocation given by Commissioner Howell, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Joanne Maston, and moment of silence for our troops and first responder, Commissioner Jody Sweeney. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, we acknowledge your presence tonight and ask you to bless us and guide us in all of our proceedings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to honor our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty, protecting life and home or fighting for our freedoms. In addition, we also honor all first responders and medical staff who have succumbed to COVID-19 virus complications contracted through close interaction with infected patients, often losing their lives caring for others. Please remember these individuals who died in the line of duty just this past week. Keep their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones here during the Christmas season. Senior Corrections Officer Scott Reiner from the Gwinnett County Department of Corrections in Georgia. Police Officer Brandon Estorff from the Bay St. Louis Police Department, Mississippi. Sergeant Stephen Robin from the Bay St. Louis Police Department in Mississippi. Sergeant Donald Scobie from the Stuttgart Police Department in Arkansas. Deputy Sheriff Daniel Kinn from the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office, Ohio. Deputy Sheriff Oscar Bolanos Anavisca from the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina. Chief of Police Joe Carey from the Broadnax Police Department, Virginia. Detective Paul Newell from the Benton County Sheriff's Office in Arkansas. Firefighter Marvin Gruber from the Community Fire Company, Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Fire Assistant Chief Zachary Parrish from the Community Fire Company in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Firefighter Paramedic Charles Schwenk, Washington Township Fire Department in Dublin, Ohio. Firefighter William Moon from the Fire Department of New York. Fire Captain Robert Lee Moore from the Kennett Fire Department in Missouri. Captain Walker Hill from the Baton Rouge Fire Department in Louisiana. And Chief Troy Dettinger from the Union Fire and Hose Company No. 1 in Dover, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tanaka, call roll, please.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell?
Here.
Mrs. Maston?
Here.
Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pepper?
Here via phone.
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 5 present, 1 absent.
Let the record show there is 1 absent and 5 present. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda, consent agenda 22-15. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Sweeney, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Any questions? Ms. Tanaka, please call roll.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Let the record show there's 5 in favor and 1 absent. Okay. Presentations. Resolution 3969, retirement of Glenn M. Howe. Please, Ms. Tanaka, you read it in the record.
Whereas the retirement of Glenn M. Howell, Kent County Commissioner of the 6th District, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Glenn M. Howell as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Glenn M. Howell for the able and loyal manner in which he performed his public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be his evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the December 20th, 2022 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
Need a motion and a second.
Motion to accept 3969, the retirement of Glenn Howell.
Motion made by Commissioner Maston.
So point of order. If he can't approve it and Alan can't approve it, I'm the one that gets to make the decision whether or not Glenn retires or not. Woohoo!
It's going to be a long night, folks.
Yes, it is. Nora, what say you?
I know how much he loved working for Levy Court, but I'm going to have to say, vote yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney votes yes. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell?
It's kind of weird voting on your own retirement. Well, I'm going to say yes, but if I got just a moment here, you know, my rule or personal rule for the last 12 years has been don't use 5,000 words when 50 will do. Well, I'm not going to break my own rule tonight, but I will say there's been a tremendous honor being a commissioner for 12 years, and my leaving is not negative in any way, shape, or form. It's just what I call self-imposed term limitations. So we got lots of talent out there, and I'm just getting out of the way so they can do their thing too. So my answer is yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Sadly, yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
It is with great sadness to say yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Well, I could probably use 5,000 words to describe the past 12 years, but regrettably, I'm going to have to say yes because Mr. Howell let somebody run for his seat. So Glenn wish you the best of luck. So I guess I have to say yes.
Mr. Angel.
Oh, this man has been around with me probably one of the longest I've ever been around. And when I go to NACO, he's right there by my side too. And I'm going to miss his prayers in the beginning of each of our levy courts. In fact, I've asked him to leave me a few because they're sweet, to the point, and no nonsense. And I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss him. So yes, he's earned it.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 5 yeas to 1 absent.
Let the record show there's 5 in favor and 1 absent. If we go out front, please.
What's happening?
You're a little teary-eyed, aren't you?
Yeah, somewhat. Don't tell anybody.
Well, I think we all are a little bit, because the one thing I will say that Levy Court has done since I've been on Levy Court, now 18 years of my 20 years, 2 years yet to go, is 2 years into my Levy Court, we did away with politics and we built friendships first. By building friendship first, you get more done. Get rid of the politics and work for the people. And that's what we've done. And this man has been right there by my side to help me when I needed help, and Levy Court. And I can't say any more about that. That's about the best, greatest thing I can say to Glenn is I'll be stopping by to check on you.
Congratulations and best wishes, but I really wish you'd reconsider and have stayed.
I know I didn't raise my electronic hand, but may I say something? I just wanted to say, I wanted to recognize just a couple people in particular. I know we've gone through how much he loves and appreciates everybody at Levy Court. But there are 3 people who really helped him a lot, so much so that he would always come home and say, he helped me with this or whatever. First of all, Diana just really helped him with the facts and the figures and things like that, because Glenn is not always on top of some of those things, but once it's made clear to him, he can react like he's supposed to react. The second person is, who was it now? Mike, as everybody has that to say when they retire or whatever. But we appreciate everything, and even when we've gone on our trips together, you're just an interesting person and so fun to get to know. You're one of the few geniuses I know, after Glenn, of course. And then Jody, who sat next to Glenn, and he'd whisper to Glenn, "Glenn, look at that, you're supposed to be doing there," whatever it was. But I just wanted to tell a little bit of a story. Glenn used to be a teacher at the prison, and he retired right before the riot. And even now, he's getting letters from some of these, some of his students saying what a great father figure he was, and how he taught them, and he didn't treat them like they were prisoners. He treated them like, I'm your friend, we're friends, and I want you to learn, I want the best for you. So it was a true ministry out there. And I know that when he became a Levy Court commissioner, that's where he excelled, was meeting the needs of the people in his district. And one that reminds me, when he first started, was a little old woman who was on oxygen. And she said, when he came around to visit, and she said, Mr. Howell, I keep trying to get them to bring the paper to my door because I can't go out and get it. Next day, Glenn had it fixed, and she said, I'm a Democrat, but I've got a huge circle of friends, and my son's name is Glenn, so we're all going to vote for you. I thought, just that one little item, you had no idea where that was going to go. So that's how he is, and at home too. So, except he says, "What are we having for dinner tonight?" No.
Mrs. Howe's right. I've sat next to Glenn for the entire 12 years that he's been here. I've been here for 16. It feels like I've sat next to him for 16 years. But nudging him along has been great for me because I like being a coach, and I feel like Glenn's become a great commissioner. Sitting up here, he is a no BS person. And you can tell when he's ready to go because he starts tapping his hands on the desk. And you guys can't see it, but he's tapping away. So, Glenn, we're going to miss you a lot. I'm not sure who they're going to put next to me. I'm assuming it's Mr. Hertz, and I'll be back in training mode, but it won't be you. Thank you for all your years of service.
Well, Glenn, it's been a pleasure. Glenn calls me Mikey when he calls, and he says, "This is Big G calling." I'm going to miss that, but I know we're going to keep in contact because you promised me, like after the first year, you're going to take me out to breakfast for retiring, and it's on you, right? All right. Well, Big G is paying. So, but all the commissioners serve their constituents so well, and Glenn, you're no exception. You were always available for your constituents, and a lot of times if you needed to confirm something for them, you were involved with various staff people here to find out the answer, whatever it might be. But the 6th District people were served very well by Glenn Howe. And it's been a pleasure working with you all these years. And I'm just so glad you came by our way. When he first got here, his hair was about 1/8 of an inch long. And when he retired from the prison, he just let her all hang out. So, but it's just that he's a great guy, and I really appreciate it, Glenn. Thanks so much. I'll turn the mic over to Mr. President.
Mr. President, are you online still? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Glenn, it's been a great 12 years. Really appreciate getting to know you and getting back in contact with Nora since we graduated from high school together. And you two have just been fantastic. I've really enjoyed both of you. And Glenn, I'm going to miss some of the talks that we had, and it's just been a joy. And I'm really glad that you found someone to support to take your position. I think that he's going to do a fantastic job. And so we'll have to break him in to be little G instead of big G. So, so best of luck to you. And if you need anything, don't you hesitate to call any one of us. And we'll certainly try to keep in contact with you. Best of luck to you and Nora. Do everything that you wanted to do, and do all those things on your bucket list. So take care. Best of luck. I'll talk to you a little bit later on.
You want to say one more thing?
Yes. I forgot probably the most important person of all, Kathy Finney. How many times she walked us through the expense accounts, and Glenn, you did this wrong. Okay, you do it this way. I mean, I don't know how she had time for everybody and us, so I appreciate all that you did too.
Okay, sir. It is now your turn.
Well, thanks for all the comments. It's kind of hard to believe 12 years has gone by, but they've been a good 12 years. I never knew this before I got here, but it really, being a commissioner really does require a lot of mental energy. I'd go to bed at night thinking about an issue, and I'd wake up in the morning thinking about the issue, phone calls and texts and emails and all the many, many events, none of which were a burden. They were just part of the job, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it'll probably take me a little while to readjust or to adjust, but don't worry, you'll see me around here. But thank you again for all the comments. I greatly appreciate it. And it's a bit sad, but I think it's the right thing to do. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, hey, you're not done. You got to sit here till it's over. I know the
Our next retirement is one that we're not craving on voting for, but he has earned it. Our County Commissioner, Mike Pettimaj. So, Lori, will you read it into the record, please?
This is Resolution 3970, retirement of Michael J. Pettimaj. Whereas the retirement of Michael J. Pettimaj, County Administrator, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Michael J. Pettimaj as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Michael J. Pettimaj for the able and loyal manner in which he performed his public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be as evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the December 20th, 2022 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
move to deny Resolution 3970.
Second, third, fourth.
Now it's your turn, Mike.
Motion for Resolution 3970.
Motion to accept Resolution 3970 for Michael Pettimaj's retirement.
Okay, made by Commissioner Maston and Jody Sweeney. Commissioner Sweeney for second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell? Yes. Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
And we go through a lot of these, and we kid, and we don't like the people, the staff to leave. We wish they'd stay for a lot longer. Wish you'd at least stay till I decide to leave, but I know he's deserved it. Beth wants him home more than 2 hours before bedtime.
2 hours after bedtime.
Okay. Mr. Pepper?
Well, Mike really knows how I feel about him retiring, and you know it's very bittersweet. And Vice President Angel, myself, we've done everything to keep him here, with the exception of locking him in his office. So I guess with everything being said and done, I guess I'm going to have to say yeah, because I guess he really wants to retire. Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Unfortunately, I have to go with he has deserved it. He is definitely well liked in the community, which I'll make some statements after my vote, but yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show there's 5 in favor and 1 missing. Okay. Beth, you want to come up and join us, please? Well, I have a lot of things to say, so I had to write them down so I wouldn't forget them, because I think this is the most emotional I think I've ever been. Mike and I have been together since I was first elected, when he was still the planning director, and from that time forth, we've kind of shared a bond. So these are my feelings that I have to say, Mike. Mike, with all the accolades you have received in your retirement, it's been more of a, this is your life. With all the people that have come and praised you, talked about you, with collaboration and the projects that you get done, it's just amazing. Just think, it's a wonderful life. For you have to touch so many people and mentor them. It shows. They came out in droves to talk about you, the person, the man that excited them, and then they wanted your leadership abilities to get things done too. You passed it on. To alter a George C. Cohan phrase, my father thanks you, my mother thanks you, my sister thanks you, I thank you, but more importantly, our county thanks you. Just think, and so does this Levy Court. We thank you too. May God continue to bless you and your family. Keep the eye on the prize, God, family, friends, and the rest is all history. Bless you and your family, and continued luck. Please don't forget us.
All he said, congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you, Joanne.
Well, actually, there are many things I could say about Mike, Mikey, I'm sorry, I kind of missed that. I remember when I was first elected, we met here, and we were talking back there, and then he was just spending all kinds of time with me, trying to get me oriented, which was probably a formidable task, but nevertheless, he was willing to spend the time. That's where the emphasis is. And so many times, my gosh, phone calls and face-to-face conversations and texts and emails and all kinds of stuff, over the 12 years. Just relied on him very heavily. And I do hope and believe you realize that the commissioner supported you big time. When you were there, we told you, but when you weren't there, we talked about it. So, it's good. It's good. Good that you're coming to this point in your life, but obviously a lot of people are going to miss you. And I'm perhaps the foremost. Who knows? All right. Jody, you want to say something? We'll let her. You want to say something?
I'll give it to Beth and you can finish up. So I started sitting out in the audience when Mike became the county administrator, taking the role from Bob McLeod. And so I followed Mike for his entire county administrator career. I've looked up to Mike. I appreciate his friendship. We still have some dates to go on for kayaking. We made that promise, so as soon as the lakes thaw, we're going to go kayaking, and I look forward to it. I'm going to tell you that retirement is pretty good. You're going to like it. You're going to love it a lot, and Beth is going to appreciate it as well. So congratulations, Mike. Beth?
I just want to say we're really proud of you, and I was there when you were the draftsman in the county planning office when you started, and you just have evolved and served the county and the state and the city, and you're appreciated at home, you're appreciated here at work, and I just can't imagine anybody else putting in the time that you have, and we appreciate that we're going to have more time with you. And I'm just thankful our children were able to come and celebrate 2 weeks ago, since they both are not here tonight, and one's working, and one just got back from a vacation. So just appreciate you and love you and wish you the best in retirement, and I'll be right behind you.
Mr. President, your turn.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, being a retired policeman, you always had to put a lot of trust in your shift mates or your partner, whatever.
Commissioner Pepper, I think we may.
I'm still here, just putting thoughts together here. But talking about Mike, I've never trusted anybody as much as I've trusted him. Over the past 12 years, especially over the past 2 years, and then 2 years prior to that as vice president, I put a lot of trust in Mike, and he never, ever, ever let me down. So, yeah, we're really we're really going to miss you, Mike. But they say everybody knows when it's that time to retire. And I guess that little guy tapped on your shoulder and said it was time to go. Best of luck, Mike. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, sir, it is now your turn.
Well, this is surreal. Thank you all for the wonderful comments. Nothing's possible without a lot of people and a lot of help and a lot of opportunities, and I've been blessed with all of those here. I came in 1985, and as Beth mentioned, I was kind of the bottom rung on the ladder in the planning office, but I had opportunities presented to me, and I was surrounded with really good, talented, and kind and caring people, and enabled me to progress. I never dreamed I'd be a county administrator back in those days, but things turned out that way. I heard Commissioner Howe earlier say, you know, he's not wanting to hear a lot of long talks, so I'm going to try to keep this. I don't want to upset him or anything. But, you know, I want to say thank you to the Levy Court, both the commissioners that are here today that are currently serving and those that I worked with in the past who have left Levy Court. Throughout the time, it's always been great, and it's not without its challenges and not without its disagreements and things of that nature, but the Levy Court I knew always got along. And they disagree here on the dais, but they're still friends outside of this room. And I just hope and pray that that continues. I trust it will, because that's the kind of people that get elected to Levy Court. They're here to really promote the public interest. That's what they have at heart. And that's what I saw here with Levy Court. I'd like to thank all of the county staff that I've had the great opportunity to work with. I saw all these paramedics here, and I thought they knew I was probably going to have a heart attack when and they were ready, but I think they're here for something else. But you know, all the staff that I've had the chance to work with have been fabulous. Again, similar to Levy Court, we don't always agree. Sometimes you get put in the unenviable position of having to make decisions that aren't always popular. But in the end, it's always for the best of the organization or the citizens. And, you know, just been blessed with great colleagues here throughout the course of my time. And I'd like to thank the citizens of the county for the opportunity to serve as well. That's why we're here. That's why people run for office. That's why people get the calling to be in public service. It's been a wonderful time working with the public here in Kent County and getting to know them. I see some members out there. I have to divert from what I was originally thinking. I see the Meddings out here, and I've had time over the course of many, many years, decades actually, work in various capacities with the Meddings. And Henry in the middle there, I got to share this story, if you don't mind. When I was planning director, before this building was ever built, we were at the county building on, over by Legislative Mall, where the courthouse is today. And there was a controversial proposal bringing forward a solid waste handler, municipal solid waste handler, essentially right across the highway from Meddings. And there was a hearing scheduled. It was a conditional use. And Henry Medding lined up a couple busloads of people. I mean, literally, he had people in buses show up at the Levy Court chamber. There were so many people that came to that meeting that the fire marshal, City of Dover, came and shut the meeting down. We couldn't get them in the room. They were lined out into the parking lot. And we had to reconvene the meeting a couple weeks later at Dover High School, where they had a bigger auditorium. And fortunately, you won, and that project didn't, and it went up somewhere else. It still happened in the county, but in a much more appropriate place. But, you know, if Henry wasn't here, I wouldn't be sharing that story. I just thought I'd take him down memory lane. So thank you for that. I'm starting to ramble, So I'm going to bring it to a conclusion here. You know, my prayer for Kent County is that it continues to be, and I know it will be, a forward-thinking, you know, group of people who come together from different backgrounds, walks of life, representing different constituents to do great things for the people who bring us here. And that's been the tradition, and I know it will continue. And again, just from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Beth for being with me all the way here. When I first started working for the county, we weren't married. We were just starting to date, really.
I didn't know what I was in for.
Yeah. But now she knows. We built a life together here in Kent County. And we have two wonderful children who are adults now. And but I know that this job and the planning job and all that took me out of the house a lot. And during those times, as I said earlier in another event we were at, Beth carried the ball a lot with the children when they were younger, and I was doing other things with the county or with the city of Dover. And I just want to acknowledge her devotion and love. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Thank you all.
Kent County Department heads have selected Melanie A. Marinucci from the Department of Public Safety as the January 2023 Employee of the Month. Melanie has been a Kent County employee since April 2014 and serves as a paramedic 2 in the Emergency Medical Services Division. Her primary duties include treating patients using advanced emergency care procedures and ensuring the high-quality delivery of life support techniques. Melanie serves as a field training officer in a shift mentor capacity, training paramedic students by sharing her wisdom and experience with those learning the profession. Also, as a mentor, she functions as a role model, encouraging new Kent County paramedics to achieve the highest standards of care and conduct. Melanie is highly praised by supervisors for her enthusiasm and customer service skills. Her positive attitude embodies our motto of serving Kent County with pride. According to Public Safety Director Colin Faulkner, Melanie, like all our paramedics, is tireless in her commitment to deliver high-quality advanced life support. She is devoted to achieving superior patient outcomes and praised by supervisors for her teamwork and willingness to work whenever needed. Melanie is certainly deserving of this honor. Congratulations, Melanie, on a job well done, and she resides in Commissioner Howell's and Pepper's districts. And the tribute reads, Kent County Levy Court, January 2023 Employee of the Month, Melanie A. Marinucci. On this, the 20th day of December 2022, the Levy Court of Kent County, State of Delaware, does hereby recognize Melanie A. Marinucci, Paramedic 2, Field Training Officer, Department of Public Safety, Emergency Medical Services Division, for her exceptional initiative, dedication, and conscientiousness in the delivery of services to the citizenry of the county.
Congratulations. Well, you always make us look good. All our employees always do. But we have a special training with our paramedics. I mean, they saved my life in May. And I know of other commissioners that have had zoo services. So, but I wish I could do more for you all. I really do. But thank you for what you do and making us look good. And like I said, you saved my life in May, and I appreciate that too.
Congratulations, Melanie, on the job well done, and may you continue your work with the county.
I agree. You've got a really difficult job. Not just anybody can do it. We appreciate it. Believe me, we really appreciate your work and your calling.
Melanie, congratulations, and you realize that this is based on your peers putting you up for Employee of the Month. It's not us. I mean, we appreciate everything you do. They know what you do. So congratulations on this honor.
Melanie, congratulations. As Commissioner Sweeney just said, one of the highest honors that can be paid to someone is being recognized by the people you work with. You've been picked as the best of the best, and I want to congratulate you on that. Some of your fellow coworkers are here to honor you as well, and yeah, and you know, it's just a great moment for us to be able to honor you this way, and I just want to say congratulations. Keep up the wonderful work.
Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to say a few words, please?
Just thank you. I'm good.
Just thank you.
Yes.
You have something to say about her, sir? Come on down. We're not going to let you give away of that. Just thank you. There's more to it.
Chief, apologies he can't be here tonight, but I just want to say, Melanie, how proud we are of you, and want to say thank you for being the role model that you are, especially to the new medics. So keep up the good work, and thank you.
President Pepper.
Yes, great job, Melanie. Thank you for all you do. And like it's been said before, you make the rest of us look good. Proud of you, proud of your accomplishments, and just keep up the good work for the county. Thank you.
Okay, our next is our Employee of the Year, our own Mark Kennedy. Whoops. Mark Kennedy, you want to come forth, please? Congratulations. Laura, you want to go ahead and read that in the record, please?
Kent County Levy Court Certificate of Recognition to Mark C. Kennedy. On this, the 20th day of December 2022, the Levy Court of Kent County, State of Delaware, does hereby recognize Mark C. Kennedy as the 2022 Kent County Employee of the Year. The prestigious award recognizes his outstanding dedication, skill, and hard work as the Media Support Coordinator in the Department of Administration, Information Technology Office on behalf of the citizens of Kent County.
Well, sir, I think other than Mike, you're the second longest one when I came to this building when we brought you on board. I had a video background that you blew me away on because I was here and you were way up here, And I learned so much from you in a short period of time that when it came time to start doing things in audio visual, and that we had great talks, and you just brought the right things to us. And with the upgrades we've done in this building, it's amazing what you have done. And when you started, you had, I believe, 1 child. He now has 9. Is that right? 8. Okay. 1 on the way, maybe? But, you know, Mark, you are just an amazing employee, and I'll never forget all the things you brought forth to Levy Court, and we're glad to have you.
Mark, congratulations on your recognition. There's no one any more deserving than you are. And I know for the last 2 years I've been here, you've certainly been a delight, and you really radiate enthusiasm. So thanks again, and congratulations.
It's remarkable that when we have some kind of technical problem, you are called immediately. You deal with the problem, you solve it quickly. Now, what else could we ask for? You know, I mean, that's just remarkable for you to have that aptitude and ability, and to use it so well to the benefit of so many people. So I'm really glad. I've known you these 12 years, and I'm sure you'll continue to do good work for, 50 years more maybe. Congrats.
Mr. President, so I don't forget you this time. You have something to say for Mark Kennedy, please?
Yeah, Mark, you're a great guy. You really work hard for the county, and your knowledge is just unbelievable what you do. So we really appreciate you, and don't go anywhere. Good. Best of luck.
For those of you who don't know, all the technology, the audio video came from Mark's heart. And if Mark isn't sitting there running the meeting, or here on some other night of the week running the meetings, which he often does, he trained the person that is running the meeting. So it's Mark has his hand in everything here, and you're to be congratulated for that.
Mark, I'm so pleased that you got this honor. No one's more deserving than Mark Kennedy of being Employee of the Year. And we had 12 Outstanding Employee of the Months from last year that were in the running for this. But, you know, I'm just very pleased that you were selected because it's well-deserved. Mark's extremely dependable person, not only nights and meetings like this, but early morning meetings. He supports outside groups that come in and use our conference center. On weekends, we've had events here, like 4-H events, and Mark supports them. Anything that needs to be done to host a meeting, make sure that it comes off correctly. I remember when we were in here trying to learn how to use WebEx for the first time when the pandemic, and Mark was the guy who figured it all out for us, because it was, you know, kind of daunting at first when we realized we had to figure out a different way to hold meetings. But he did it. He led us through that, and I'm just tickled to death, Mark. Congratulations.
Your turn, sir.
Thank you. It's heartfelt to be recognized and appreciated by your peers, by your superiors, the people you work for, even the citizens that we work for. And in all honesty, I feel that it could be anybody that works at this county that could be Employee of the Year. I get a chance to interact with so many of my fellow employees, and I know their heart for serving the residents of the county, for working with each other, for supporting the commissioners and the various departments and outside boards and organizations. And they do it through sometimes health situations, financial situations, personal situations, and they show up regularly. And that level of commitment that I see from my fellow employees helps me to stay motivated. So I really feel that anybody could have been Employee of the Year, Employee of the Month. but I am grateful that I was selected and recognized by someone of my peer who I hold in high regard that saw fit to nominate me, and I really appreciate that. So, like Mr. Howell says, I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you for the honor.
You want to take it? Okay, we're now down to public hearings. Ms. Kiefer, ordinance LC 2222, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before the hearing, just a word about how these hearings will be conducted. This public hearing is being conducted for the purpose of giving the citizens of the county the opportunity to present testimony on the applications before the Levy Court. Everyone will have a chance to speak. All statements are to be made from the podium at the front of the room. For the record, please give your name and address. Copies of any written statements or exhibits used during the hearing should be presented for identification and inclusion in the record. For each application before the Levy Court, the President will introduce the application. Levy Court will then take testimony from all of those in favor. Testimony will then be received from those who may be opposed. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, the hearing will be closed, and Levy Court will take what action it deems appropriate. The Levy Court's decision will be based upon public hearing testimony given at this meeting and a recommendation submitted to the Levy Court by the Regional Planning Commission. I would ask that that recommendation be included by reference in the permanent record of this meeting established by the Clerk of the Peace. The public notice of this hearing was published in the December 2nd, 2022 edition of the Delaware State News. The first application before the Levy Court is ordinance LC 2222. This is a rezoning application. The site itself is 2 parcels totaling just over 1 acre. Southeast of Katy Lane, just southeast of Frederica. The site is currently zoned AC, Agricultural Conservation, and the proposed zoning district is BG, General Business. The Regional Planning Commission took testimony on the application at their December 1st hearing, and at their December 8th business meeting voted unanimously to recommend approval, citing that the proposal comports both with the comprehensive plan and with the South Frederica master plan. In addition, they determined that it was indeed in keeping with the character of the area. So again, the rezoning application comes with a recommendation for approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Kiefer? Seeing none? Okay. All those in favor, please come forth. State your name, address, and be sworn if you're not an attorney, please, or affirmed.
Good evening, Mr. President. Ring Lardner with the firm Davis Boner Friedel, Principal Professional Engineer, 1 Park Avenue, Milford, Delaware, 19963.
Mr. Lardner, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Do you swear or affirm, sir, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Before I begin, I'd like to say to Commissioner Howell and Mr. Petitmage, thank you for your service and congratulations on your retirement. I didn't realize December got here that fast when I first heard Mike was retiring. With me this evening is Mr. Robbie Medding, managing member of the applicant, Rob's Rides LLC. Also with him this evening is his father, Henry, and sons, Dayton and Covey. Mr. Predamage, you'll notice that tonight it's only the party bus and not a whole bunch of extra buses. As Ms. Kiefer mentioned, we're requesting approval to rezone 2 parcels of land just over 1 acre from agriculture conservation to general business, and to change the comprehensive plan designation from low density residential to highway commercial. Also believe, I think I heard her correctly, that all the previous testimony and exhibits and the like is part of the record. And with that, that makes us even shorter. With that, one of the exhibits was a letter from the Momberg firm dated November 14th, representing the 3 property owners that are adjacent to this parcel, and then another landowner further to the north in Frederica, pretty much stating that they were not opposed to the rezonings, but they had mentioned some things in the letter regarding access, site plans, and the like. Again, that is a separate application should this body grant approval of those rezonings, and those issues should not really be considered as part of that portion of the application as a site plan specific item. With that, Mr. Medding is a local businessman who has assisted his neighbors, been supportive of the county and their citizens, has improved his business to include relocating and rebuilding his existing entrance on Bay Road at his sole cost. And furthermore, Mr. Medding was a member of the South Frederica Master Plan Working Group that kind of helped create this master plan that was referred to earlier. In summary, this parcel is located in an area designated for transition to commercial, located adjacent to general business on 2 sides, and there's an industrial designation approximately 500 feet to the south of this parcel. The proposed rezoning is consistent with the South Frederica Master Plan, consistent with the surrounding area, and as you heard, the Regional Planning Commission did recommend unanimously approval of this application. We thank you for this time this evening and are here to answer any questions you may have of us.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else in favor of this application? Anybody else in favor? Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Anybody online, Mr. Kennedy?
If there's anyone joining us online that would like to speak in favor or in opposition of this application, you can indicate by raising your electronic hand, and we'll let you into the meeting at that time.
Thank you.
I see no hands raised, Mr. Vice President.
Close the public hearings. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Angel will entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance LC 2222, an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation on official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware, pursuant to provisions of Kent County Code Volume 2, Chapter 205 Zoning, Article 3, Section 2058, and Section 2059, and Article 18, changes and amendments effective December 1st, 2000, as amended. Go ahead.
We have a motion by Commissioner Angel, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes, with our RPC's unanimous approval, yes.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes, reason stated.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, reason stated, and the Meddings, they run a, I guess you would call it a landmark, Kent County operation there, a very nice operation. I don't think they're going to do anything to run that down, so my vote is yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, for all reasons previously stated.
Mr. Sweeney, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show it's 5 in favor and 1 absent.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Okay, Ms. Kiefer, ordinance LC 2221, wind energy moratorium. Mr. Sweeney, I need you back here, sir.
Thank you. Ordinance LC 2221 establishes a moratorium on the consideration of plans for any utility-scale wind energy systems. The moratorium is scheduled to extend through June 30th, 2023, to enable the Levy Court to consider potential regulations regarding utility-scale wind energy systems. The Regional Planning Commission considered this at their December 1st hearing, and at their December 8th business meeting, voted to recommend approval of the moratorium. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Kiefer on this? Ms. Kiefer, I have a question. So the new zoning ordinances that we are considering coming up the first of the year, are there zoning changes that will affect public utilities such as wind requests?
There is language in the draft that effectively treats utility scale wind the same way the Levy Court chose to treat utility scale solar. So it would be, the way it's proposed in the ordinance is large scale wind energy would only be permitted in the BG zoning district. It would not be permitted in AC or AR.
And what's the timing now that we've delayed the zoning changes? What's the timing on getting that approved? Just rough guess. February?
Potentially February.
Are there any applications for a wind farm at this time?
No.
And we did a personal study with the county down at the treatment plant for whether or not wind was going to be a viable option. Do you remember what the results of that were?
The results were that the cost benefit didn't work out to install wind, and the county instead installed solar.
So this moratorium would only be in effect until I don't think there's a date on it. Would it?
June 30.
Till June 30th, even though the ordinances may pass in February?
You could rescind them early. You can rescind the moratorium.
Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Angel.
And along those lines, and that's the reason why this was brought forth, because we have nothing in place. And the one thing we didn't want to do, when we had solar, we got caught with our pants down, and we had a long battle with that. And so it's better to be proactive instead of reactive, to have something on the books, because you never know what's going to happen. And with technology changing so fast, they're no longer just big windmills. They are small cylinders now too. So, and we don't know what's coming at us, so it's better to have something on the books.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Kiefer. Public hearing for ordinance LC 22-21 wind energy moratorium is now open. Anyone in favor of LC 22-21, please come forward, state your name and address, and be sworn or affirmed by the county attorney. Anyone in favor? Anyone online, Mr. Kennedy?
If there's anyone joining us online that would like to speak in favor of this ordinance, please indicate by raising your electronic hand at this time. I see no hands raised.
Thank you, sir. Anyone opposed to ordinance LC 22-21, wind energy moratorium, please come forward, state your name and address, and be sworn or affirmed by the county attorney. Anyone opposed? Anybody online opposed, Mr. Kennedy?
Similarly, if there's anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this ordinance, please indicate by raising your electronic hand at this time. See no hands raised.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we close the public hearings on ordinance LC 22-21, wind energy moratorium. Commissioner Angel.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I move to approve ordinance LC 22-21, wind energy moratorium. An ordinance is to amend Kent County Code, Volume 1, Chapter 158, moratoriums, as amended by adding a new subsection relating to acceptance of conditional use site plan applications for public utility uses, wind energy systems.
Second.
Motion has been made, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes, as per my statement.
Mr. Hall? Absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes, reason stated.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, the reason stated by the Vice President.
Mr. Sweeney?
No, I am just generally opposed to moratoriums when we're addressing the issue in future zoning laws.
Roll call reveals 4 yeas, 1 nay, 1 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Tanaka. Ordinance LC 22-21, wind energy moratorium passes.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Close the public hearings. We're going to move into recess committee meetings. The first one up is Community Services. Mr. Sweeney,
Thank you,
Chair.
sir. Mr. Shepard is making his way down to the podium. We asked Mr. Shepard a few months back to consider alternatives for our newsletter. He went out and did his due diligence and is ready to make a presentation along with his suggestion for moving forward. Mr. Shepard, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Commissioners, County Administrator, and staff. Recently, I completed a bid process for the county newsletter. For those in the audience and listening, it is the 4 times a year brochure newsletter that we send out. Has a lot of information about Kent County Levy Court, its operations, and also its activities through Parks, Recreation, and the library. So it is a great communication piece for the community. People do wait for it to come out, and it does provide a great service. We've been doing it for a long time. It originally started with just Parks and Recreation, probably 20, 25 years ago, and now we're into kind of a whole organizational newsletter. So we properly bid this out, which means that we have to legally advertise it. We have to give it a certain amount of time for people to respond to that advertisement. And then we need to have 2 people to open those bids, and then we review those bids, not only in office, but also through the finance department to make sure that everything that came in is accurate and is, to the T about, the specifications that we're asking for. So this particular process was a little bit more complicated than past processes for the newsletter because Levy Court, through a previous meeting, requested a potential upgrade of the medium that's used, so the paper, including a glossy cover that would kind of give it a little bit more jazz or pizzazz, what have you, that might create a little bit more interest in people picking it up and making sure that they do review the materials that have been sent to them. So multiple specs went out originally in the first part of this process. And then once we received bids, we did throw out 2 more additional specs that was on slightly lighter paper than the original specs. So it just provided us with a whole view of not only an upgraded publication, but also some cost savings based on the weight of the paper that we would be using. Unfortunately, we only got 2 bids, which was a little disappointing. We had made contact with a couple of other companies. They knew about it. They were really looped into it, and they did not submit. But that is what it is. We can't control that. They have to do that. Of the 2 bids that we received, we only kind of got a partial bid from one of them. They did not bid on both specifications in the original specs, and then they didn't even refused to provide us any additional bids for the additional specs that we put out. So it really came down to, we really had one respondent that really met not only the qualifications, but could provide us with price quotes for the specs that we wanted. And that was the printer that we currently use, which is Indiana Printing and Publishing out of Indiana, Pennsylvania. We've been using this company now for 3 years. I think that they have provided us with good service. They are very easy to work with. They really did a great job throughout the pandemic, working with us to change things and downgrade numbers of pages without penalizing us for the contracts that we had. So, you know, I'm happy on one hand that we have Indiana being the lowest responsive bidder, but it would have been nice to see better price quotes from a group of people to back up everything that we got here. So in your packet, I gave you a ton of information, and maybe it's a little bit difficult to look through, but on page 2 of the memo, it really shows you a pricing matrix based off of not only the bid spec, which there was 4 of them, but also the number of pages, okay? Because as you may know or may remember, sometimes we'll have more information and sometimes we'll have less information. Previously, our brochures or newsletters have been about 24 pages throughout the pandemic because we didn't have as many programs happening. Excuse me, but we'll have, hopefully, you know, a base of 28-page newsletter going out, you know, with this contract from now on. Those prices are in there for you to look at. I'm sure that you've probably discussed and looked them over. I didn't have no questions before the meeting at any time, so I kind of assume that you have an idea what you're going for. So essentially, you know, staff recommendation is to accept Indiana Printing and Publishing as, you know, for contracting, not only the printing, but also the bulk mailing service. It's just a matter of what does Levy Court want them to print on. Does Levy Court want the additional cost of providing a glossy cover, or do we just stay with the status quo and move forward? So I kind of leave that question up to you. I can answer as many questions as I can try to. Obviously, I'm not in the business of printing, but try to do the best I can. So, any questions for me at this time?
Any questions for Mr. Shepherd? Commissioner?
Good evening, Jeremy. Just to boil it down, the recommended alternative 3, that's essentially the quality that we're currently producing, correct?
That is exactly the quality that we're currently producing, yes.
Yeah, so just so everyone's clear on that.
Right.
Thank you very much.
So as we had discussed some months ago, there was some interest in at least a full color cover, if not a full color issue itself. I know those are difficult. Which option is that?
So I just want to walk that back a little bit. We've been having full color newsletters, you know, for a while now with this company.
Not on glossy.
But just not on glossy. That's correct. So it's really about providing a glossy cover or not.
So which option is the cover?
So both of the glossy covers are the alternate. So that's the second one down.
Okay.
And then the fourth one. So it says gloss, 80-pound gloss text on both of those. So that provides it. So for a 28-page brochure, their quote was, you know, for both of them, $23,700, and that's per printing, right? So that's 4 times. You have to multiply that by 4 times. The bulk mailing cost was roughly $1,200, so it's relatively nominal in comparison. But then, of course, there's the mailing cost that isn't really put into this part because it's a separate thing that we pay for. And to give you an example, the brochure that's going out next week, it was $20,000 to mail.
So our choices are Indiana Printing and Publishing Company. There are no other choices for the printer, correct?
That is correct.
Because of the quality of the bids that came in or lack of there.
Yes, sir.
So if we choose to go with them as the printer, is there a possibility that of the 4 printings a year, one of them can be a full color all glossy pages, and the second, third, and fourth one be on, full color glossy cover with newsprint inside? I mean, are those options if we are going with Indiana? We just have to tell them what we want ahead of time.
Yeah, so to pick and choose per printing, that was not discussed. That really wasn't an option put out there. It probably is something that we can discuss with them. As I said before, they're very amenable to, working with us. I don't know 100% if they would be, 6 printings from now you want to put a glossy out for a particular reason. Will they honor that particular price if you haven't paid it for so long? I can't necessarily say. I don't know if it's that kind of an a la carte menu, if you know what I mean. We kind of took it from all this level,
right,
all this level, all that level. So it's a little unconventional in a sense, but yeah, I can talk to them about it.
So I've done some printings, obviously, through the school district, and we did newsprint, we did newsprint full color pages, then we went all glossy, which all glossy is very high quality, very professionally done through a local printer. Just looks so much better. So I'm going to ask my fellow commissioners what their impression is on the newsletter. Do we want to go with something that's a little more glossy, or do we want to look at price? That's what it comes down to. Or can it be a mix? Commissioner Angel.
Well, remembering back when I first got on, we had a little newspaper. It was just maybe 8 pages. So we've evolved a lot when we first started this. And, quality does mean something when you look at a magazine. Even with my professional magazines I get, at least the hard copy, the face and the back are all glossy. And usually they're informational on the back and inside that are key points, what the magazine has and what's coming up next on the next issue possibly too. So, I'll go with the majority, but I'd like to see us change just a little bit, at least have a glossy front and back cover.
So I can tell you from experience that with Smyrna, when we started sending out the full gloss with pictures, we got more comments from parents who appreciated it and were keeping them if their kids were in the edition that we sent out, because they were high gloss, they were high quality pictures. Where I don't think they kept the old one, it became the bottom of the bird cage or for the crab feast. And I still have a lot of them at home for eating crabs. So I think that we want to look at least the cover. So that would be the alternate option at $23,742 for a 28-page edition. Is that the correct option?
You're accurate by calling that one out, the first alternate.
Okay, first alternate. Commissioner Angel.
And Mr. Shepard, you said we mainly do 24 pages right now, but that was mainly due to COVID, right?
Mainly, yes.
Okay. Is there any extra pages that aren't printed that we can maybe showcase some of the things in the county that, like our economic development? We hold what do you guys do here with the one club, Mike and you come and judge? 4-H, things in our community that maybe not get enough attention. Our Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, things that maybe we can have a little section for them, upcoming events. I know they're trying to do a jamboree here in the future. So I'm just trying to think outside the box ahead of time.
I think whatever you want to go in there can go in there. I don't think we're not the person to say no. Maybe a little bit more information about how it gets paid for is that the 3 departments essentially kind of foot the bill. It's all county money, I get it, but administration handles their 8 pages. Parks and Rec will get theirs, and the library will get theirs. So a certain amount of money comes out of each portion of everybody's budget in order to cover the costs for this. If there are pages that are specifically made for outside organizations. I think that, you know, figured out how to break that down to, you know, that makes that work. When they do print, though, back to your original question about extra pages, everything is at a 4-page increment, okay? Because every sheet of paper is going to have essentially 4 pages, you know, 2 on the front, 2 on the back, wherever it fits in that publication. So when we get a draft back, you know, we take a look at what's on that draft, how many pages are there, and then we'll either try to add information or we'll try to subtract less pertinent information the best we can in order to make it fit, you know, at what the contract is. So luckily, we've been very fortunate again with this printer to just be able to, you know, add and subtract, you know, for prices that have been pretty good.
Commissioner Maston.
Jeremy, just a quick question. So if we go with alternate 3, that was $16,000 4 times a year, right? And
4
to
times
get the
a year.
glossy cover, it's an additional $7,000 per printing, so it would be an additional $28,000 a year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Angel.
Well, way back in the beginning when we started doing this, and I know we don't want to get into selling ads because we don't want any political portion of this or anything, but maybe to offset costs, that's something we could entertain and look at over a period of time. Not right now, because I know we're under the gun, but I mean, just to bring it up to help cut the cost down and save some taxpayer dollars somewhere that we could use, sell some ads on that glossy portion in the back.
Jeremy's not saying anything, and I know what he's thinking, so we'll let it go.
Like I said in leadership, whenever you want to give me a marketing department, we'll go ahead and sell
that
ads.
requires a huge...
It's really not our forte in Parks and Recreation.
That's work, marketing, going out and getting the ads, designing the ads, picking and choosing, making sure we don't get the wrong ad. There's a lot to that. So
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that it's a little above and beyond what we can help
even
with.
the filler that Jeremy does that are events that Kent County Levy Court commissioners were involved in, that he places the articles in there. There's work behind that because someone has to write that article, and usually it falls to Kelly Pitts to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we should mention that Kelly Pitts really is the
huge
first 8
contributor.
pages. That's really her baby there. So.
All right, so we can close this up. I'd still like to see alternate 1 moving forward, which is the gloss cover, inside, outside cover, front and back, and the rest of it, the news web sheet feed in color that we've already been doing. Is that acceptable? We'll move this forward to the ensuing business meeting. Commissioner Pepper, are you still online?
Still here.
What's your opinion?
Still here. Yeah, I agree. We ought to go to the option 2 there with the glossy cover and back page. Make it, people will get more use out of it. They won't hit the trash cans quickly. And it just more professional looking, I think.
All right, so move this forward to the ensuing business meeting. I see 4 hands here. Is your hand up, Ms. Pepper?
It is.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you, Mr. Shepard. Appreciate it. Any public comments? Any public comments? Seeing none, back to you, Mr. Vice President.
Yes, sir. Mr. Howe, Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We'll ask Ms. Gold to come forward on these 2 items.
Good evening, everyone. So our first item tonight is a compact excavator purchase. Our budget for FY23 includes $75,000 for the purchase. We looked at state contract and contacted 4 vendors, and we've selected McClung Logan Equipment Company, Inc. from Bridgeville, Delaware, who has a Volvo a Volvo excavator for $73,671. And it is our recommendation that we award to them. So back to you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I didn't know Volvo even made things like that. I mean, this is a new one on me, but this is the low bid.
So for this case, it is low bid, but it is based on state contract, therefore it did not have to be advertised.
Okay, I got it. All right, any questions or comments? We'll put this on an item tonight, later. Everybody in favor of that? Okay, we had 5 up, I believe.
Yeah, my hand's up.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Did you hear it?
You use your right hand next time. Okay, so we got that one taken care of. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2, compact track loader purchase. We have an existing John Deere skid steer track loader. It was acquired in 2008. It's been repaired multiple times. Although we did not budget for this purchase, we have a flatbed dump truck in the budget. It was in the prior year balance column of the FY23 budget, so the funds were budgeted in FY19, FY20, and FY21. We're not going to pursue the purchase of the flatbed truck and would like to get the compact track loader. We acquired 2 prices, and we only looked at John Deere in this case because we have existing John Deere equipment with existing attachments that we're planning to reuse. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but the 2 vendors are from the state contract, and therefore it was not advertised.
All right, it looks clear to me. Any questions or comments? Everything's all right? Everybody in favor of moving it up tonight? I assume, Mr. President, raising.
Hands up. Yep, hands up.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any comments from our audience? All right, very good. Mr. Vice President, back to you.
Thank you. Next one's under me, Microsoft 365 license renewal, Mr. Simmons. Joe?
Good evening, Commissioners and staff and Mike. We're here basically because of the Office 365 upgrade. Back in April 2022, we awarded liftoff the contract for Microsoft licensing. I'm here tonight because just to follow our procurement policies and rules for purchases over $50,000. Back in April, we approved the licenses for $33,000. And the way the licensing works is that it's on an annual basis. So that took us basically half of a year that we paid for. The license renewal was up for January for a full year of that license. We have budgeted the full amount for the 6 months and then a full year in the office upgrade project. So we're just coming back to Levy Court to purchase our yearly license that will take us through January 23 to December 24th at a price of $62,406. And we conferred with the finance director and the finance department that the project will pick up the licensing for calendar year 2023, which is half of fiscal year 2023 and then a half of fiscal year 2024. And then each subsequent year after that, the departments will pick up the cost. It'll be charged back to the departments for the office license. I think this was a very, very successful project. It gave us time between the 3 months to go in there or 6 months to go in and kind of figure out what license level everybody needed. We had some employees that needed a lesser license, some employee needed a higher license. And this figure also includes any new employees that are scheduled to come on or, hasn't been hired yet. So bring forth for your approval to go ahead and for the calendar year 2023 Microsoft licensing in the amount of $62,406. Any questions?
Commissioner Sweeney, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, sir. Joe, does the Office 365 license include either a free or reduced license for employees at home use?
The current license that we have now does include employee can use it at home. Employee can use it up to 4 devices. So you can have it on Microsoft Office on your work computer, your cell phone, your tablet, and a PC at home. So each account is allowed 4 devices to download Microsoft Office. And since it's in a cloud environment, it can be accessed whether you're on site, on-prem, or at home.
So is it the cloud version or is it the on-site?
It's the cloud version. So
if you have access to the internet, you don't get access to their service, right?
If you don't have, yes, you need access to the internet to use it at home.
Right.
Okay. Here, we run what they call a hybrid. So our email on-prem still comes to our on-prem service. You still get your email within the county's network, whether you have internet access or not.
Right.
If you're home, obviously you got to have internet access.
Because I can remember the last time I negotiated the Office 365 license for the district, we also had the option to include the download of the Microsoft Office suite of products so they can be used offline. That's not included in this, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Joe? Move it forth for the business meeting. Mr. President?
Move it forward.
Okay, 5 in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comments on this item? Seeing none? Look. New business, Mr. Sweeney.
First thing on new business is the union. It's on the bottom of the previous page. That's under you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Quayla. CWA Local 13101.
Evening, Commissioners, Mr. Vice President, County Administrator. This was reviewed with the Commissioners a couple of weeks ago. The current contract with CWA 13101, representing the wastewater treatment employees, expires at the end of the calendar year. We started negotiations in October and concluded them after 6 meetings involving the team appointed by Levy Court, which was the county administrator, the county attorney, myself, the public works director, and the finance director. After those meetings, we were able to conclude those negotiations, and the team is prepared to recommend approval of that contract. It's a 4-year contract, which is unusual to be able to negotiate. And these are calendar year contracts as opposed to the paramedic union contract, which runs on fiscal years, expires in June. Some of the highlights of the contract were the addition of the Juneteenth holiday for the wastewater guys. And we were very interested in resolving an issue we had in the past with special holidays, and they did agree to do that. So we're very happy about that. Along with a few other changes that they were certainly looking for and we were looking for. But ultimately, contracts are all about the wages, and we were able to negotiate with them that much the same language they have right now, that they would receive a minimum 2% wage increase per year, and that's only if the rest of the county employees receive no increase. So that is a provision we were able to preserve from the existing contract. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Quayla. Any questions from, yes, Mr. Sweeney?
Thank you, sir. No question, just a comment. Mr. Quayla, I wanted to thank you and congratulate you and the county team, as well as the union representatives and union. I think this is a contract that benefits everybody and benefits no one, which is always a good way to go. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. I move to approve the 2023-2026 successor collective bargaining agreement with CWA Local 13101, representing eligible Kent County wastewater facilities employees as recommended, and authorize the president to execute the document on behalf of Levy Court.
Second.
Moved and seconded by myself, seconded by Commissioners Maston. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show there's 5 in favor and 1 absent.
Thank you, Commissioners, and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you, Terry.
Same to you, Alan.
Is Commissioner Howell still there?
Yes.
Well, good. I just want to let you know that I reached my destination about 10 minutes ago, and it's 68 degrees here. And I want to take this opportunity to tell you that I'm going to leave the meeting before you, Commissioner Howell. I don't think I've ever had that opportunity, but tonight I'm going to take that opportunity and leave early. So, best luck to everybody.
You're taking advantage of my last meeting to dig me one last time, aren't you?
You got it, buddy. You got it.
All right.
You got it.
Well, in
But,
view of the...
wish you all a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Be
Thank
safe.
You
and,
too.
Have a joyous New Year.
You got it. Thank you.
Everybody take care.
Merry Christmas,
See you
Terry.
all.
Family.
Same to you, Terry, and safe travels home.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, sir. We just discussed this in the committee meetings. I move to award the Kent County Levy Court newsletter printing services of alternate 1 with glossy front and back cover inside and outside, and bulk mailing services 2-year contracts to Indiana Printing and Publishing Company Incorporated of Indiana, Pennsylvania, and further move to allow the president of Levy Court to sign the contracts.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Howell. Please call the roll. Mr. Tanaka.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper? Absent. Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show 4 in favor and 2 absent. Passes. Okay, Mr. Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. 2 items here. First one is I make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2023 Volvo EC60E compact excavator from McClung Logan Equipment Company Incorporated in the amount of $73,671 and issuance of a purchase order. The excavator was approved as part of the FY23 budget. The funding is sewer fund operating revenue.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Howell, seconded by Commissioner Sweeney. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show 4 in favor, 2 absent. Next one, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I have a motion to move to authorize purchase of a 2023 John Deere 333G compact track loader from Atlantic Tractor in the amount of $96,887.60 and the issuance of a purchase order. Funding is sewer fund operating revenue prior year balance, column designated for purchase of a flatbed dump truck as shown in the FY23 sewer fund budget.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Howell, seconded by Commissioner Sweeney. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show 4 in favor and 2 absent. Okay. Microsoft Office 365 license renewal. Any further questions? Seeing none, I move to renew our 2023 Microsoft Office 365 licenses with liftoff for $62,406, with the funding source being the Capital Fund, Project Fund, Information Technology, Microsoft 365 Upgrade Project.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Angel, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Please call the roll, Ms. Tanaka.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show 4 in favor and 2 absent. Commissioner Sweeney, 1 and 2, please.
Have executive session tonight?
Yes.
Move to go into executive session immediately following the business meeting for a preliminary discussion on site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 1004 B2, 4, and 9.
Need a second, please?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Sweeney, seconded by Commissioner Howell. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show we're 4 in favor and 2 absent for executive session tonight. Number 2, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you. Move to go into executive session immediately following the committee meetings of Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 1004 B2, 4, and 9.
Motion made. Need a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Maston. Please, Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall, absent. Mr. Howell,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Angel,
Yep.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 4 yeas, 2 absent.
Let the record show there's 4 in favor and 2 absent for January 10th, 2023. Any informational items? County Administrator, Mike Pettit.
Not a commissioner yet, but look out. I just wanted to remind mainly the public, you all know this already, that this is the last meeting of Levy Court for the year, and we will meet again on January 3rd at 7 p.m. here in Levy Court for the organizational meeting of Levy Court. After first Tuesday of the new year after the election is when Levy Court convenes to elect president, vice president, and to do other essential business to lay out the program for the next 2 years. Earlier that day at 3 p.m., there will be a swearing-in ceremony for all the newly elected or re-elected officials here in this room, beginning at 3 p.m., January 3rd. There will be a reception to follow down the hall in room 220, and public is invited. Of course, we will know we'll have a number of guests here that will be invited by our newly elected officials. So that's something to look forward to. The other thing I just wanted to remind commissioners that our contract engagement with Tetra Tech, our consultant that assists us with ARPA reviews, I would I just urge you to, if you have inquiries, to start those at the staff level. There have been a recent activity with contacting the consultant directly, and we had a meeting. We meet weekly with the consultant via Teams, but they're accessible to us. But I would suggest that if you have an inquiry, begin with the interim county administrator, Mr. Quiella, or finance director, Ms. Durham, assistant county administrator, Laura Whistler. They could all help you at least, and sometimes be able to answer the question. And if not, then we would be able to track it down. But the reason I bring it up is the contract is an hourly, payment contract. So we every time there's a call or something like that, it gets added to a bill. So it's just something that we want to be mindful of. That and we're not their only customer either, so they may take some time to get back to us. But we do have set periods of time when we communicate directly with them. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much, and happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas.
Any other informational items? Public comments. Any public comments? Any public comments?
May I make a comment?
Go ahead.
First of all, I would like to wish Commissioner Howe and Mike the best of retirement. You both are going to be tremendously missed. We've had a lot of good times, Mike, and it's going to be hard without you. You've been an exceptional administrator. Also, I just want to welcome the two new commissioners and wish them a Merry Christmas, and can't wait to look forward to working with both of you. I have treats for everybody here, so before you leave, Laura and I is going to go out and get them, and we'll pass them around while the meeting's gone. Okay, your homemade treats. So
be a coconut cream pie.
I also included the newly elected ones as well. So we'll go get those and we'll go ahead and pass them out. What'd you say?
It better be a coconut cream pie from your mom.
You're going to see. And it's not. Hey, it's not from mom. It's from the daughter. All right. So we're going to go and get them, and we'll pass them out to you while you're continuing your meeting. Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Brenda. Any other public comments? State your name, please.
I am Zach Kleptowski from 696 Statenville Road, Harrington, Delaware, 19952. You guys may know me as Snake Creek Motocross Track. I can see where I've slipped through the cracks recently and why. I would like to congratulate you guys on your retirement. That's great. And I would like to see some new faces up here, and I really look forward to that. And going to be seeing you guys more often, it seems like. So thank you very much, guys, and hope you guys have a good holiday as well.
You too, sir. Merry Christmas to you too. Any other public comments? Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Sweeney.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So this year was filled with Christmas parades that I don't remember having this many Christmas parades, and I'm just about worn out a pair of shoes walking in the parades. But want to thank Laura and Kelly for all their hard work getting us in those parades and getting set up with either paramedic vehicles or bookmobiles or putting us in line or making sure we had rides to and from the front and back of the parades. And but now that it's over, you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you on January 3rd.
Thank you, sir. Any other commissioner comments? Yes, ma'am.
Merry Christmas to everyone, and Mr. Sweeney, you better get a new pair of shoes because you forgot Smyrna and Clayton prayed this year's. Their respective Sundays.
Well, the only thing I was going to do, and Brenda did steal my thunder on this, but I wanted to also introduce Bob Scott and Paul Hertz, our two newest commissioners sitting in the middle there, that they've been coming to this show. If you guys would stand, please. And our interim director, as of after Mike leaves, Mr. Alan Coela in the back. And of course, our favorite commissioner, or actually councilman that's been following us here lately, he's like adopted us, is from Clayton, Mr. Paisley. So at this time, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope everybody has a safe holiday. And we'll see you all in the new year. And at this time, can we have a raise of hands to adjourn into his executive? 4 up, we are.
Are we allowed to eat pie in the executive session?